It's time to wake up, witches. I'm your host, Kat Adams, and I'm here to remind you that no matter where you're at in life, you're not stuck. Hello, and welcome back to the show. Now that we got all that naughty bits out of the way, we're going to talk about something different today. But before I get into the topic of today, I want to talk about what's been going on in my life. So as I'm recording this, the Barbie movie just came out like a week ago, I think. And apparently men are losing their shit over this movie. I have not seen it. I'm going to try to see it next week. Super excited about it from what I've been hearing. It's super women empowerment. So I'm excited to see it. But I've been hearing men are losing their shit over it. And one guy on TikTok, and if you're not on TikTok following me, I don't know what you're doing with your life. One guy on TikTok, he put it into really good words. He mansplained it, but hopefully he's mansplaining it to men, because I think this is something women already knew. When people are like, oh, well, I don't understand. Why are men so mad about this movie? It doesn't like, supposedly, I don't know. Like I said, I've not seen it, but I don't think it like calls men out on anything. It's just a women empowerment movie. So this guy was like, apparently dudes are like all hating on Margot Robbie. But if you think about it, they didn't hate on her when she was sexualized in Wolf on Wall Street. They didn't hate her when she was sexualized in her pigtails and also in a toxic relationship in Harley Quinn. But they hate her when she's telling other women they can be anything they want. And it's because, how dare she? Right? They don't want women to know you can be anything you want. They don't want women to remember the power they truly have. They want women to sit down and shut up. If women are empowering other women to go forth and be freaking amazing, and if at the same time they're educating men, which I believe this is in the movie, it educates everyone against patriarchal ideas being bad for everyone. But if women are doing that, then if we wake up, men are going to lose power, and they can't have that. So they want to shut us up. They want to silence us. This is the true reason why they're mad about Barbie. Because seriously, like, I have not seen any other reason. People cannot explain it. Men are just mad. Like, oh, how dare they make a movie that's not catered to men? The root of the problem is it's a perceived loss of power. They don't want you to know how amazing you are. But I'm here to tell you how amazing you are. And apparently the Barbie movie is too. So go check it out. Let me know your thoughts on that. A couple other things I've been up to recently is Halloween shopping, because it's never too early. And I believe I spoke about this before, either in my last podcast or social media. I don't know. I can't keep up with anything these days. I did the TikTok trend on painting the spooky ghost in the old thrifted paintings. So go to a thrift store, get yourself some old painting that you don't mind messing up, and then paint ghosts on it, and pumpkins and vampires. Oh my gosh, so much fun. And I apologize if I said that in the last, I've already told y'all about that in the last podcast. Like I said, I can't keep up with anything, and I'm not going to go back and listen to those 2 long podcasts. I actually did those back to back. So still in the spooky mood. I have bought Bath and Body Works candles, Halloween candles. They are out. And different Halloween stuff from like Home Goods and yada, 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 because I am in the spooky mood. I know it's August, but I start turning within and starting my fall in September, like seriously, September 1st. I put all my Halloween stuff out September 1st. And I start spending time up in our vampire lounge upstairs. And I love that comfy, cozy stuff. And I am going to do a podcast on that way of life really soon because I'm starting to get really into Huga, I think it's called, and slow living and things like that. Like I found this TikTok guy I am obsessed with. And no, not obsessed with him in that way. It's because he has those vibes that just make you feel comfort. And I think that's going to be my next podcast. But I don't want to talk about that too much in this episode because I want to do my research first and read some books on it so I can read the books and give you the highlights. So moving on with today's podcast topic, I guess it kind of plays on the spooky vibes, and it's for sure going to have some woo-woo stuff in it, but also just some stuff on how to deal with energy vampires, which is the topic of today. So let's get started. And if you have never heard of an energy vampire, no, it's not a real, fang cape wearing person. It is something entirely different. So let me read to you the definition. An energy vampire is not an actual entity, but a metaphorical concept often used to describe a type of person who is considered to drain emotional or mental energy from others. This term is used predominantly in psychology and self-help contexts. People characterized as energy vampires tend to display certain traits and behaviors that can be emotionally or mentally draining for those around them. They might be excessively negative, needy, manipulative, demanding, or overly critical. Interacting with such individuals can leave you feeling emotionally exhausted, stressed, or depleted, hence the term energy vampire. Now, I did not choose this topic today because I'm getting into spooky season. I chose this topic because, unfortunately, I have had, sometimes it's present, an energy vampire in my life. And you're going to notice when I start talking about the signs, some similarities to the same thing we went through with, is my husband abusive or is he an asshole? Because most abusive people and narcissists are energy vampires. It's almost one and the same. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but let me tell you what happened to me. Oh, Lord. Well, this past week, I think I've gotten into that, depression kind of when you come back from vacation. And I know I talked about that previously for sure. So I've been feeling kind of funky and just out of sorts. My energy has felt disrupted. And I know some people are probably like, this is just weird and woo-woo and out there, but I'm very in tune with my energy. I'm very in tune with everyone else's energy. And mine has just felt off. And I think part of it was also because I got on Facebook. And I usually don't get on Facebook. I hate Facebook. But I got on Facebook and someone was saying some really racist stuff and I had to lay smack down. And I usually don't go into social media battles, but it really put me in a funk that people are still openly racist and still think this way. They're still openly women hating. I mean, there's a lot of that on my Facebook. I'm in the deep South. So I usually don't get on Facebook because I want to avoid these types of people. And, some you just can't avoid in life. So I think that was kind of also the start of it, is when I decided to get on there and start responding and go to these battles. And it's not going to fix anything because these people are never going to change their mind. Like, even if you show them hey, the sky is blue and they're like, no, it's green. You're like, no, it's blue. They're like, no, it's green. You're not going to change their mind. You're just not. This is deeply rooted issues with them. And whatever you say is not going to change their mind. And it really sucks to know that and know that you live in a place that is just so gross and disgusting and in another world and can't progress. So yes, I was definitely put in a bad mood because of that. And I think oh my gosh, now that I think about it, I think it opened the door for some issues later in the week I had because I actually had encountered an energy vampire, a very racist one. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because I just put two and two together. Like, I don't get on social media, like Facebook, because of the drama. But I opened that door and I was defending, all these marginalized cultures and yada, 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 and talking about, fuck you if you're racist, basically. And oh my gosh, I opened that door for a racist to come into my life later. And that racist was an energy vampire. So my bad for opening that door that I know is negative and I stay away from. And look at what happened. So blast from the past, encountered that some person I outgrew, and upon immediate contact being in their vicinity, I felt drained. I felt like, I don't even know, like, just like horrible, emotionally exhausted, mental fatigue, like just worn down. And it took me back to the place that I had been before I had done this whole transformation of my life. And that's a very sad place. I hate going back there. I don't want to go back there. I'm a different person now. And I feel really bad for the cat that is back in that place, because it makes me sad to know that she spent so long in that place and she didn't have to be, which is why I'm on this podcast telling you don't have to be either, because you're not stuck. But anyways, all these old feelings came out and it just didn't feel good. And then I realized I'm dealing with an energy vampire. So I had to do some shit to get rid of the dark doo-doo energy. You need to go back to one of my first episodes where I talked about negative dark doo-doo energy. But I will also tell you some methods today to help you when you deal with energy vampires. But yeah, like my energy felt shifted that night. I dreamed about some crazy shit. I had a candle burning on my desk, and it actually caught one of my pictures on fire. Like, my energy was just so discombobulated. Is that the word? Because that's the word I feel like using. It was. And I had to reset. So on with energy vampires, let me tell you some of the symptoms of them. And then maybe you're going to be able to put two and two together and recognize if you have an energy vampire in your life. So first symptom, emotionally exhausting. Interaction with them often leaves you feeling emotionally drained, tired, or overwhelmed. Another sign is high need for attention. They consistently seek validation, attention, and reassurance, and become upset or negative when they do not receive it. Manipulative behavior. They may manipulate situations or people to suit their needs, often disregarding the needs or feelings of others. Frequent negativity. I hate this. This is worse. They often focus on the negative aspects of life, always complaining, criticizing, or playing the victim. Their conversations may frequently revolve around their problems or grievances. I hate that. That is so freaking draining when people do that. Lack of empathy. They may demonstrate a lack of understanding or regard for your feelings or your needs, or the needs of a marginalized culture. Hello, racist. Disregard for boundaries. They may push or completely ignore personal boundaries you set, often under the guise of needing help or support. One-sided relationships. Your relationship with them often feels one-sided. You may find you're always giving, like emotionally, mentally, or physically, but you're rarely receiving. Mood changes. You may notice your mood shifts when you're around them. You often feel anxious, irritable, or depressed. Hello, your energy shifting too. That is your energy. Lack of personal responsibility. They often avoid taking responsibility for their actions, instead blaming others or external factors for their problems or misfortunes. And jealousy or competitiveness. They may always try to one-up you or seem envious of your success. They may downplay your achievements and exaggerate their own. Oh, I can't stand that. Oh, My ex used to do that. If I said, I'm tired, he's 10 times more tired. I'm sick. Oh, all of a sudden he's got the flu. Oh, I cannot stand the one-upness. But that list is traits of an energy vampire. And if you notice, a lot of those go hand in hand with that power and control wheel that we just did with that whole long series on, is my husband abusive or is he an asshole? So if you think about that, think about people you have in your life. Do they hit any of these categories? Do they hit all of these categories? Lord help you if they do. But you need to start thinking about making your circle smaller, because it wasn't until I started making my circle smaller that I realized, wow, just how many shitty people and shitty relationships I had in my life that was keeping me stuck. They were keeping me from growing. And if you have these energy vampires in your life, they're probably keeping you from growing too. So here are some methods you can do to deal with energy vampires. And some of these are going to get a little bit woo-woo, but you know what? That's what I'm all about these days. And you can just tune me out if you want, or you can take a chance. Hey, you know what? If you want to try some of this stuff and you're just like, I don't believe in this shit, but it's spooky season and you can get crafty and you can just, use that excuse. You're getting your early Halloween on to do some wild and crazy witchy shit. And side note, before I forget, and I'm going off topic here for a second, my husband and I were watching YouTube videos last night and we were talking about like going to Salem and stuff and talking about the Bell Witch, because we live in Tennessee. And he's like, yeah, I went to the Bell Witch's cave. And I was like, yeah, I think I had an aunt or something that did something with the Bell Witch. I don't remember. But we're like, let's look up the history of the Bell Witch. And once you get into this women empowerment stuff and you start learning about these, things that happen to women, and you learn like about women, how oppressed they are. Oh my gosh. You have no idea. The article I read this morning, I just don't even want to talk about it because it'll make me cry, but something that's happening in India. Anyways, we were watching about the Bell Witch, and apparently the Bell Witch was this entity or, this witch, because I'm sure it was like a man or something that came up with it being a witch. But something was tormenting this family, specifically the John Bell, I think was the name, something Bell, Mr. Bell. All right. Just tormenting the shit out of him until he basically went crazy. And my first thought wasn't, ooh, this is spooky. Like they hear this scratching in the house and they hear this knocking in the house. But apparently the man, Mr. Bell, is just losing his mind over it. Everyone else is freaked out too. But whatever it is really tormenting Mr. Bell. And my first thought, like I said, wasn't, oh gosh, I'd be scared. It was, that motherfucker did something. That motherfucker did something. He fucked around and he found out. If there is a Bell Witch, she knows what he did, and he was probably being punished. Is that too harsh? Am I casting judgment? Maybe. But you know what? In this day and age, and with the statistics of like what it is with men and stuff, and you think back then, like men were really, able to get away with so much. I bet he fucked around and found out something happened. I bet you anything, Bell Witch was karma or energy in action. I don't know. Is that mean of me to accuse? Is that mean of me to accuse a man of doing something bad and being punished for it, even if it's like in this psychic world, when at the same time, men accuse women of being witches and burn them back then? So how is that fair? But you can't accuse him of doing something and being punished through, hex or whatever, maybe his own just torment. Who knows? I don't know. I don't think I'm being too far-fetched here. I don't think I'm being much of a bitch, but that's my take on the Bell Witch. So I don't even remember how I got off on that. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I just had to give you my little commentary on that story. All right. The first method I want to talk about is not a woo-woo method. All right. So if you're not into the witchy stuff, stay tuned in for now. because it is called the gray rock method. You can use this method with abusive people in your life, energy vampires, assholes, narcissists, anyone you don't like. But again, let me bring it back to keep your circle small. I would start with keeping your circle small, setting, enforcing boundaries with people who bring your energy down. If you can cut them out of your life, cut them out of your life. If you can't, we're going to start here with the gray rock method. So that is a technique that was developed for dealing with difficult people, especially those who are overly confrontational, manipulative, or abusive, including people known as energy vampires. I'm reading the definition off ChatGPT, y'all. The term was first coined by a blogger named Skylar. The gray rock method involves becoming as emotionally unresponsive, boring, and uninteresting as possible to the problematic individual. The idea is that by not providing any fuel for their disruptive behaviors like emotional reactions, attention, or engagement, you can deter them from involving you in their drama or manipulations. So this is how you're going to use the gray rock method. You do not share personal information with these people. The less they know about your life, feelings, and plans, the less they have to work with. Do not open your mouth about personal shit around these people. I have learned that the hard way. That was something that happened to me this past week. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't say personal stuff around this person because it's going to go everywhere. And I don't want my life shared everywhere because I just don't whatever. Anyways, I'm not a gossiper, but they're going to take whatever you tell them and they're going to turn it around on you and they're going to use it against you. Please do not tell them your personal stuff, especially your secrets. Guard your personal information. Another way to use this gray rock method is keep conversations brief and superficial. If you have to engage with them, stick to boring, non-controversial topics. How's the weather today? Oh, neat shoes. I love those shoes. Where did you get them? Don't talk about deep shit. And again, don't talk about personal shit. Keep it brief and superficial because anything you tell them, they're going to twist it around. Also, avoid displaying emotional reactions. This is often what energy vampires or manipulators feed on. I'm guilty of this, y'all. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm so guilty of this. I don't know how, but I'm working on it. And I'm going to tell you a method here in a second. But I don't know how to not display my disgust, I guess, when being around these people. I try to smile, but it's fake, it's inauthentic, and I'm sure that shows through my eyes. And they like that. If an energy vampire is going to love that, that's what they want. They want to make you feel these feelings. So a normal person would be like, oh, they don't like me. It's weird, awkward. I'm going to leave. But no. Energy vampires are going to make your life worse. So don't have a resting bitch face on. Just smile, nod, keep it brief, superficial, go on your merry way. Next, politely excuse yourself from interactions. If the person tries to engage you in drama or negativity, try to disengage as quickly and calmly as possible. One thing you can do, and I have learned, and this goes back to the racism thing, is say they say something racist. Say someone tells you a racist joke. And you don't know how to respond to that, right? You respond by saying, I don't understand. Can you explain it to me? Make them explain their douchebagginess. Make them admit to their assholishness. That's one little tidbit you can learn from me. But otherwise, just leave them. Excuse yourself from those interactions. You got to go. You got important shit to do. You've got women to empower and things to create and a life to live. You're not going to be one of those asshole racist people who are sitting on Facebook just complaining and posting fake news, negative memes all day. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine living that way. Come on, wake up, live your life, put some good into this world. It really, really needs it. And last but not least, be boring. The more uninteresting you seem, the less likely the difficult person will be to engage with you. Now, that one's tough because be boring with them. All right, maybe that's how I should phrase it. Be boring with them. And that can go back to not talking about your personal information. Don't tell them about all these amazing achievements you're doing. Don't tell them about all these wonderful trips you're taking and just how happy you are. Be boring. Like nothing's going on in your life, okay? Or at least I hope stuff's going on in your life, but act like nothing's going on in your life with this energy vampire. So that's the gray rock method. You're just a boring gray rock. You're dull. No one wants to talk to you because you're boring. You suck. Well, you don't suck. You don't have to go that far as to where you suck. But this energy vampire, you need to make them think you suck and you're not worth their time because you're not giving them the reactions and the emotions that they feed off of. So they're going to move to somebody else. So you be hard as a rock. And I'm leaving that one in there. That was an impromptu innuendo. I don't know. Is my mind still back in the dead bedroom thing? Maybe, who knows? But it's Kat. I'm me. If you can't get rid of your energy vampires with setting boundaries and cutting them out, you're going to gray rock method. If you can't gray rock method, what are you going to do? All right. Two things. We're going to talk about cord cutting real quick, and we're going to talk about shielding. Shielding is something that I am just learning about that I should have known about before because I think it would have helped me a lot. I think after encountering, energy vampires, maybe I wouldn't feel like shit after if I learned to shield. And even if you don't believe in this like metaphysical woo type stuff, I think intentions go a long way. I mean, there is a reason the placebo effect works. It's because if you set your mind to something, you trick your mind into something. So again, do with it what you will, but this is another method that you can use if you want to try it. So let me read to you about shielding. Shielding in the context of witchcraft or other spiritual practices typically refers to a variety of methods that are used to protect oneself from unwanted energies, entities, or influences. Shielding can be considered a form of psychic self-defense and can involve a variety of techniques, including visualization, rituals, spells, amulets, talismans, and more. One common method of shielding involves the visualization, I don't know what's wrong with me this morning, of a protective barrier around oneself, often in the form of a bubble, wall, or shield. This barrier is intended to block out negative or harmful energies. Some people imagine this shield being strengthened by light, a particular color, or other symbolic elements that have personal significance. I mean, that sounds pretty easy, right? When you're in contact with these people, you just imagine a barrier between you. So their shit is not coming into your good shit. Their negative doo-doo energy is not farting all over your rainbows. Another form of shielding could involve the use of physical objects like amulets or talismans that have been charged or blessed with protective intentions. This could include crystals, jewelry, or other objects that are carried or worn. Hello, this could mean evil eye. If you got an evil eye piece of jewelry, use it. Crystals, the protection crystals. What is that? Black onyx? I can't remember. It's in the negative dark doo-doo energy episode. So go check it out. That's another thing you can use to get rid of these people. It's also common to use rituals or spells as a method of shielding. This could involve anything from a simple spoken or written intention of protection to a more complex ritual involving multiple elements and steps. One of those rituals could be a cord cutting ritual. So again, cut that person out of your life if you can. Stop talking to them. If you can't, try the gray rock method. Try it in combination with the shielding. Like we meditate and we imagine shit all the time. This is like a awaken, open your eyes meditation that you're having to do when you're having to be around these energy vampires. And last but not least, cord cutting. Now, if you want to go deeper on a more witchy journey, you don't have to be a witch to do any of this. You just have to be done with these mofos and ready to try anything. Highly recommend, though, the witchy path. It's so freaking fun. All right, so cord cutting is a term used in various spiritual and metaphysical practices, including some forms of witchcraft, to describe the process of intentionally severing a psychological or energetic connection with another person, place, or situation. This practice is typically used when the relationship or connection is perceived to be unhealthy, harmful, or draining. The cord in this context is a metaphorical construct representing the emotional, mental, spiritual, or energetic tie between two entities. A cord cutting ritual or spell generally involves a symbolic action to represent the severing of this connection. This might involve visualization exercises, spoken or written words of intention, or physical actions like cutting a piece of string or burning a written note. For example, a person might visualize the cord between themselves and the other entity, then imagine a blade or other tool severing that cord. They might also use a physical representation of the cord, like a piece of string, and physically cut it while holding the intention of cutting the energetic cord. The goal of cord cutting is often to release unwanted influences and to promote personal healing and growth. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I've seen it done a lot of different ways. You can Google it, go on TikTok. I've seen a ton of cord cutting videos. I've seen it where you put like a piece of twine between two different candles and you burn the candles until the twine burns up. I have seen meditations where you're just meditating. YouTube probably has guided meditations on cord cutting where you're just visualizing you attached to this person by cord and you're cutting it. So different ways of doing cord cutting, from doing more witchy spell stuff with candles to just a guided meditation visualization. I don't know what's wrong with me this morning, y'all. I'm so sorry. But those are some methods you can use to deal with energy vampires, assholes, narcissists, the people in your life who are holding you back, bringing you down, and making you feel stuck. So try all that. Let me know how it goes. I would love to know how it goes. And then next time I record a podcast, it's hopefully going to be kind of turning this on its head. And if you want to wait and try this next method coming out next week, it's more about self-love. It's more about like, hey, fuck these people. And, you can do all this stuff, but you also need to learn, like, I need to take care of myself. I need to give myself some love during this period of discombobulated energy. I don't even know if I'm using that word right. I need to look at the dictionary. I think I am. Oh, this is coming from a writer. Good Lord. All right. If you would rather take a different route and just be kinder to yourself instead of cord cutting or any of this stuff that you don't really feel like you need, burning, we're going to be talking about that, more self-love stuff. But it's not going to get the people out of your life. Self-love is about growing and healing. And hopefully at the same time, yes, you can learn that you're worth it, which will spur you on to change your situation. But it's really hard to get these people out of your life. So I definitely recommend doing one of these methods I told you about. I think the one I hear of the most is the gray rock method. I know a lot of women use that in their abusive relationships. So go ahead, try it. Stay safe. I wish you the best. I hope it all works out for you. Ever since my week ended and I treated myself, and because I had to get my energy right, and it is back, y'all. It is right. It's so crazy. Yesterday, I was like, yesterday was Saturday. I was like, I'm going to have a great day. I am just going to wake up. The sun's going to be shining. And I'm just going to have a good day. Like, I'm going to shift my energy back to where it's supposed to be. Fuck all this negativity. Fuck those energy vampires. I am going to be a badass and I'm going to have an amazing day. And the first thing I did was go check the mail. And I had a present in there for my BFF. It was a spiderweb waffle maker. And I was like, what the hell? I was not expecting that. Already, I was manifesting my good day. And it just got better from there. My husband made blueberry margaritas. I treated myself to some shopping and maybe some new lips. And it was an amazing day. So I'm feeling good, and you can feel good too. You do not have to let energy vampires drain you anymore, because now you are empowered, a la Barbie movie empowered. So go forth and be the badass you are. Thank you so much for listening. If you love the show, please leave a rating, a review. And if you know anyone who also might love the show or who could benefit from this information, please be sure to share it and subscribe. The more we get this out to people, the more people we can help. And I truly believe there's so many women who need to hear these words, because so many women are feeling stuck. Also, if you're looking for me, you can usually find me on the gram at author Kat Adams, and be sure to head over to my website, and that's Kat Adams, Adams with a double D's.com. Subscribe to my newsletter for the latest information. Also, when you subscribe, you're going to get a free novella. And just be forewarned, my raunchy rom-com is as dirty as my mouth. So if that's your thing, go for it. It's super hilarious. But thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, please stay safe, and I'll see you on the other side.